All right, guys, so I'm Miss Jasmine. All right, can everybody say, hey, Miss Jasmine? All right, hey, guys. So today we're going to be talking about clocks. We're going to be talking about digital clocks and analogs. I know you guys may not know these words, but do you know what a clock is? Can anybody tell me what they think a clock is? Oh, okay, what was it? That is correct. It does have numbers on it. Anybody else? It's used to tell time? Very, very good. That's exactly right. Do y'all have any clocks in your house? Yes, those are the things that hang on the wall. That is correct. Any other things you know about clocks? Good job. It does have a little hand and a big hand. It's very good for you to know that. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna have you guys do today, we're gonna watch a little video. So if you guys want to stand up, shake, dance, twirl, as long as you stay in your spot. So the first thing we're gonna be watching today is Hip Hop Around the Clock. Are you guys ready? Are you guys excited? All right, here we go. I'm gonna make it big for you guys.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. When I say the time, you stop. If you're at the time, you say hip hop, then the time on the clock.
Good job, guys.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 8 o'clock.
Hip hop, it's 8 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 5 o'clock.
Hip hop, it's 5 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 2 o'clock.
Hip hop, it's 2 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 11 o'clock.
Hip hop, it's 11 o'clock.
All right, guys. How you guys like that video? It's very, very fun. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is vocabulary. So we have our vocabulary wall here. All right. Can anybody tell me what a clock is? Does anybody know what a clock does? Okay. Well, a clock keeps up with time. And what is time? Good job. Time has the numbers. So the numbers are hours and minutes. Can everybody say hours and minutes? Hours and minutes. Good job, guys. So what are analogs? That's a pretty big word. So analogs are these. So this is my little analog right here. And you guys see this paper right here? The little clocks on there are analogs. All right. So do you guys know what a big hand and a little hand is on a clock? Well, it's those pointy things. You know what those pointy things are? Yeah, so they point at the numbers. So what does the big hand point at? It points at minutes. So what does the little hand point at? Good job, it points at the hours. So remember, we have minutes and hours. So So, does anybody know what 30 minutes is? Or where 30 minutes might be on the clock? Good guess. That's a very good guess. All right. So 30 minutes on the clock would be right here. There would be a tick mark right there. So there are tick marks on the clock. So you see those little lines right there on the clock? Those are tick marks. Can you say tick marks? So those are the minutes. So the minutes are the little lines on the clock. So right here, where the big hand is pointing at the tick mark right there, that's 30 minutes. So when the big hand is pointing right here, that's 30 minutes. But what if it comes back around? Now it's back to 0, 0. So it would be 8 o'clock right here. But what if it stays at 8 and it moves to right here? Then it's 8:30. So you guys remember, this is 30 minutes. Can everybody say 30 minutes? Good job. So remember, the little hand points at the big numbers and the big hand points at the little tick marks. And you remember what we said about right here? That's 30 minutes. All right. So if we put this on the clock, what time is that? So the big hand is pointing at the tick mark below the 6 and the little hand is pointing at the 7. Good job. That is 7:30. Okay. So what if the little hand stays at the 7, but the big hand is up here? What is that? What time is that? That is 7 o'clock. Good job. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Very, very good question. So what is o'clock? So o'clock comes after you tell a time. So 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So you see, it's o'clock. All right. Does anybody else have any more questions? What is this? Remember, we said this was an analog. So an analog reads time, just like on this paper right here. All right, so let's do one more practice. So the clock, all right, so the little hand is pointing at the 9 and the big hand is pointing down below the 6. Remember, big hand points at the tick mark and the little hand points at the big number. What time is that? Does anybody know? Good job. That is 9:30. So what if the big hand is pointing up here and the little hand is still pointing at the 9? Like this. What time would that be? 9 o'clock. Good job. Good job, guys. All right. So we're going to start with our timesheet. Does everybody have a timesheet? Okay. So first, I want you to try and work on this by yourself. Now, if you have any questions or need any help, just tell me. And I will come and try my very, very best to help you. All right? So after you guys complete this, we're going to go over it. And then I'm going to take it up and take it home with me and look at your sheets. So are you guys ready to start? All right, go ahead. Okay, so remember, the big hand points at the minutes and the little hand points at the hours. And the hours are the big numbers. Can you remember that? Good job. Yeah, that is exactly right. All right. Is everybody doing good? All right. You're all doing a very, very good job. All right. Let's go ahead and go over it, guys. All right. So can anybody tell me what this time is right here? That's exactly right. That is 8:30. What about here? 11:30. Very good. And what about here? 2:30. Awesome. All right, and what about here? Remember, big hand points at the minutes and little hand points at the hours, which are the big numbers on these clocks. Good job, that is 4:30. So what if the big hand were pointing up here and the little hand were still at the 4? What time would it be then? No, it wouldn't be 4:12. Remember, it would be 4 o'clock because the big hand points at the minutes and the minutes up here is 0. So it'd be 4 o'clock. All right, what about right here? What time is that? 9:30, very good. All right, and what about here? This one is a little tricky. So you see the little hand is pointing at the 6 and the big hand is pointing up here. What time is that, guys? 6 o'clock, very, very good. And what about right here? Little hand at 1, big hand on the tick mark below the 6. 1:30, good job. So what if the little hand were to stay at the 1 and come up here? Remember what I just said? Good job, it'd be 1 o'clock. All right, and what is this time? Anybody know? You got it right there on your paper. What is it? 7:30, good job. All right, last one, guys. What is this one? 5:30, very, very good job, guys. I think you guys are getting the hang of this. So does everybody know what the numbers are? Everybody knows what 30 minutes is. How are you guys feeling so far? Good? Good job. That's great. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any while we're doing this. So we're gonna play a little game. All right. So you see this clock here? I'm gonna ask you to make a time on there, and then you're gonna pass it to your partner, and we're gonna see how fast you guys can go. But don't rush. If you need time to think, take your time and think. We want you to be correct. All right? Are you guys ready? All right, here we go. I want you to put 12 o'clock on the clock. Good job. All right, pass it, pass it. 10:30. Good job. All right, pass it. Let's do 2:30. Very, very good job. But right here, remember, the little hand goes on the number, and the big hand are those tick marks down there. Remember I said 2:30? So the little hand goes on the 2, and the big hand goes right there at the 6, right there at that tick mark. So that's 2:30. You just had your hands mixed up, but you did very, very good. All right, so you guys, 35 seconds. That's very, very fast, you guys. Are you ready to go again? All right, here we go. Let's do 6:30. All right. Remember, this one's a little tricky. There you go. Both hands are right there at the 6. But remember what the little hand and the big hand is pointing at. All right, next person. All right, do 2:30. Good job. All right, pass it, pass it. Let's do 11:30. Awesome. You guys did very, very good. You did that in 20 seconds. Way faster. You guys are so good at this. So tonight when you go home, I want all you guys to look at a clock. Find any clocks on the wall. And when you see that clock, I want you to do a little dance. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything about clocks? Anything? All right. So let's look at our vocabulary again. But this time, I'm not going to show it to you right away. All right. Does anybody remember what a clock does? Yeah, a clock has a number. What should we call that? Oh, a clock keeps up with the time. Good job. So what was the time? What did we say time was? Good job. Time is hours and minutes. All right, so what was an analog? Did we use one of those today? Yes, we did. It's right here. Good job. All right, so what does the big hand point to? Remember? Big hand, minutes. Good job. What about little hand? Hours. And what are the hours? The hours are those big numbers on there. All right, so let's see if you got it all right. You guys did excellent. Does anybody have any questions? Is anybody confused on clocks? Is there anything you want to ask me about clocks? Anything about half hours? You guys know a half hour is those 30 minutes. So 2 30 minutes makes a whole. So remember, so it would be 12:30 and then back to 12. Or 12:30 and then it would go to 1. You guys get that? All right. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And I want you to talk amongst your group and tell them what you learned today and if there's anything else that you already knew. All right, do you guys have any questions for me? All right, y'all did fantastic. I'll see you guys tomorrow.